Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Welcome back to another News I Missed, where I go over news I missed. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up or by leaving a comment, because it does help with the algorithm. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. It's more of a, this news happened a couple of hours ago, but you were all sleeping, so therefore it's kind of news that you missed because you weren't awake for the time that it took place. Bitcoin moved up in price. It says the price of Bitcoin peaked at $24,661 on Bitstamp, surpassing the previous record set last week. The altcoin market also rebounded, with Ethereum, Litecoin, and XRP posting impressive rallies. Yesterday, Bitcoin's price began to surge. It went around to $24,600, which was the brand new all-time high. I posted on Twitter asking everybody, like, where do you think we're going next? And everybody was like, I don't know, because the cryptocurrency market is weird. And then like an hour and a half later, Bitcoin popped up to 25,000 US dollars per coin. As you might have imagined, everyone is very, very excited. I think that the next step from here is probably 30,000. Of course, you know, we have to hit the other numbers before we actually get to 30,000. But I feel like there's no longer going to be a real limit on the 27,000, 28,000. We're going mighty high. And I believe it's simply because of the actual supply that's on cryptocurrency exchanges is finally, or has been, decreasing for a while. But I still do not think that any of the major purchases that we've heard about have actually been priced into the market. But the really good news is that on Christmas Day, Bitcoin hit 25,000, which is kind of insane. Shout out to everyone out there who predicted 23,000 on the 23rd and 25,000 on the 25th. If you can just keep giving me these price predictions, we can have $1 million Bitcoin before we all know it. Anyway, yeah, kind of spectacular. 25,000. It doesn't even really sound real when you kind of say it out loud, because we were just like hoping and praying that we would get past 20,000, and lo and behold, we're at 25,000 now. Anyway. Wait, what's the next part? Let's move on. Yeah, there we go. Let's moving onward. In mega news that everyone made sure to talk about and discuss, crypto exchange Bitstamp has just announced that it will be halting trading and deposits of XRP for its US customers on the 8th of January, obviously next year. However, US customers will still be able to withdraw their XRP after that date. According to the official announcement, Bitstamp customers from other jurisdictions will not be affected. Keep that in mind. The exact statement by the exchange was in light of the recent SEC filing against Ripple Labs Inc., which alleges that XRP is a security. We are going to halt all trading and deposits of XRP for our US customers on the 8th of January 2021 at 9 p.m. UTC. We will closely follow the unfolding situation and continue to adapt accordingly. Our U.S. customers will still be able to withdraw XRP from Bitstamp. Customers from other countries are not affected. I made sure to read that part twice because the news last night was that multiple cryptocurrency exchanges had begun to delist XRP, and XRP was not going to be there anymore. And of course, the We Hate XRP troop gang began to post on Twitter nonstop. But if you actually read through it, once again, you heard me say it twice, it's only for U.S. customers. And one would assume that it's only for U.S. customers because it's currently the U.S. who has a problem with XRP and has deemed it as a security. Every other country doesn't think that XRP is a security and is going to stay on other cryptocurrency exchanges. So it appears once again that it is only going to be a U.S. thing. And keeping in mind, cryptocurrencies are not limited to one country, so the other 189 plus countries around the world still have access to XRP. It is simply the United States who does not have access to this. This was all over the place. This was the, it wasn't even hateful news I missed. It was just simply, so XRP, I think at this point has been delisted from 4 crypto exchanges. One was called like Hump Bump. The other one was like Toenail, Bitstamp, and there was another one like 2 days ago. But when you look at they have like $35,000 volume per day. So no one's using these things in the first place. Not that anyone's not using Bitstamp, but of course we would assume that Bitstamp would halt XRP trading within the US, because it's the US that has a problem with XRP. So yeah, all over the place. XRP trading and deposits to be halted for US customers. Bitstamp to halt XRP trading deposits in US due to SEC lawsuit. A lot of this is just like hyper fear based. I think everyone is so desperate to try and make sure that XRP gets this smear campaign all over its face as much as humanly possible. You have to understand that cryptocurrency exchanges do not want to delist XRP. It is the previously third largest coin because Tether keeps doing really insanely things. So they're also making tons of money. Like I think XRP's trading volume the last like couple of days was between like 30 and 40 billion dollars. Exchanges are making a huge amount of money. Anyway, a lot of people have this really weird personal conviction and like personal thing against XRP, and that's not how the rest of the cryptocurrency world has shaped itself in the last couple of years. But we still have about 500 people who just do not like XRP for whatever reason. Not my fault. And just so in case you were wondering, Bitstamp is actually located, I think, mainly in Luxembourg and Europe, and they have an office in London and they have an office in New York. So this is the one that I assume is going to be delisting XRP. Anyway, yeah, I assume that we will probably get more XRP delisting news if the SEC does send out more letters to the cryptocurrency exchanges and say, hey, you actually have this unregistered security on your platform. Can you please delist it until the yada, yada, yada is done? But once again, remember, nearly every cryptocurrency exchange, every major cryptocurrency exchange now has all the paperwork through themselves and subsidiaries to be able to hold security tokens, as it were. So, which I think is also going to be quite interesting because the entire discussion of a security is going to disappear, because I assume that Coinbase, I don't know so much about Binance. Binance seems to really just be crypto focused, but I assume that Coinbase is going to try and start having stocks on their platform as well at some point, because they are securities and therefore they'll be able to offer them. So I feel like Coinbase is going for like a Robin Hood kind of type feel. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Anyway, that's the supposed to be scary XRP news. And without further ado, let's move on. Tether is, of course, in the news. Tether, the largest cryptocurrency stablecoin, has passed $20 billion. There are now 20 billion Tether floating around in the world. According to data confirmed by the company on the 18th of December, Tether is now a $20 billion asset and the fourth largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Tether has surpassed $20 billion. An official Twitter update said, the fantastic milestone is another confirmation for Tether maintaining its number one spot as the most liquid, stable, and trusted currency. I wouldn't really go that far. Tether's market cap has been increasing at a record pace throughout the past quarters, passing $10 billion just 3 months ago. So I think there's no denying at this point that Tether is probably here to stay for a very long time. We've had Tether controversies for quite a bit of time. I think it's fairly clear that Tether has made sure that they remain in the market, that they remain number one in the market. The other stable coins that were introduced by, Binance and Coinbase and the other places, I assume they'll be around for a while, but I think Tether has definitely, 10 billion extra Tether in 3 months is absolutely insane. And I assume it's all institutional stuff behind the scenes as well, because the news that we used to have before was the assumption that Tether was simply printing Tether to be able to buy a Bitcoin because this is what they wanted to do. But I think we've well gone far beyond that, because I don't think Tether would have been able to make it during this year if institutions hadn't jumped in. Anyway, that's the Tether news. It has, of course, passed by XRP, not only because of the price drop, but because, tons of new Tether constantly entering the market like every 4 hours. Anyway, that's Tether. And moving onward. In news that should be everywhere news, or should have been everywhere news, as this is news I missed, Bitcoin whales holding Bitcoin worth $20 million or more have accumulated a total of 500,000 BTC worth $11.5 billion since September. This is according to chief economist at Chainalysis. His name is Philip Gradwell, who shared his observation via the following statement and accompanying chart demonstrating the accumulation of Bitcoin whales since September. He said, wondering why hashtag Bitcoin has returned 225% in 2020. Since September, new investors holding at least $20 million worth of Bitcoin each have together acquired 500,000 Bitcoin, currently worth 11.5 billion. For me, this is the chart that explains the Bitcoin market in 2020. And I think this is the actual tweet that he sent out right here. Yep. Well, I guess the numbers make sense because we keep getting news like this all the time. I assume these numbers are only going to continue increasing. I don't know. I don't have any much more to say on the topic because you should all know exactly how I feel about this. The Bitcoin that we see on the market is going to continue disappearing. And there's going to be a supply shock. Once again, you've been made aware of this situation multiple times by me because I think a lot of other people just really aren't talking about it. We get some stuff on Twitter, but it's like, but anyway, so just make sure you're all paying attention. Should something amazing happen with the price of Bitcoin, don't say that you weren't aware of it because the news happens every single day. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, the hotel booking service provider Mirai has sealed a deal with Krypton, a Spanish crypto platform operator. It says a move that will see over 1,200 hotels in the country getting an option to accept payments in crypto assets such as Bitcoin. In a blog post, the accommodations booking site announced it had integrated a range of new payment options with a series of partnering deals, including the Krypton platform. All the deals, said Mirai, involved companies that are Payment Service Directive 2 compliant. PSD2 is a European Union regulation in electronic payment services that was introduced last year and comes into full force at the end of this year. Cool. Wonderful. We keep getting news and it's usually blanket news. It's never like there's one hotel who's accepting it. There's always like a chain of hotels who are kind of linked together, who are all blanket accepting cryptocurrencies at the exact same time. It's great for adoption. It's great for people to be able to see that there is a payment option for them because you'd better believe if there are a lot of people, and I assume more than a handful, who are going to be making $10, $15, $20 million from the cryptocurrency market going up and or Bitcoin going up or yada, 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 they're going to start to do luxurious things with their cryptocurrencies. However, don't forget, they're probably going to be really sad selling off that crypto if the prices keep continuing rising. But the cool, wonderful, if you want to go to Spain, I can't tell you not to pay in Bitcoin, but don't be the pizza guy. That's my biggest fear I have other fears, but I'm going to stop talking. So Spain is you can Bitcoin in Spain with booking through Krypton. Wonderful. Here's the press release, I assume. I'm so tired of websites asking me to accept these things, so I simply just kind of scroll around them. I can still read the articles, which is great. Anyway, Mirai has integrated all these payment processors that comply with PSD2. Fantasticals. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, Binance has announced support for the Binance Vietnamese Dong, or the BVND, a BEP2 stablecoin pegged to the Vietnamese Dong. BVND will be available for direct purchase and redemption of a 1 BVND to a 1 VND rate. The announcement added, Binance will list Binance VND BVND and open trading for BUSD BVND and USDT BVND trading. Isn't it weird that all makes sense? I was reading through some other cryptocurrency news before, and there was all these letters, and it was like BTC to USDT can be converted into BUSD, and I was like, why does all of that make sense? Trading pairs 2020 18th of December at 12 noon, which has already happened. BVND will be available for purchase from the 21st of December at 10 a.m. for verified Vietnamese users. So the news is that Binance has added another currency to their platform. Binance stated at the beginning of, I'm pretty sure it was last year, unless it was like the very beginning of this year, because it doesn't ring in my head, that they were trying to add support for nearly every single currency on the planet for people to be able to, around the world, to be able to trade and stuff like that. And I assume it's worked out pretty well. We've heard news about Binance exchange closures, like Jersey and what was the other one? Portugal? No, I don't remember where it was anymore. The point being, cool. Good on them. When I talk about certain cryptocurrency exchanges, you know exactly which one I'm talking about, being very boring and not really pushing the limits, this is kind of what I mean. Binance, I think, they should have every single major world currency now on their platform, and also a stablecoin equivalent for them. But other platforms don't. Anyway, that's the Binance Vietnam news. So if you're in Vietnam and you've been looking to buy a stablecoin, there you go. Let's move on. Next up, Kraken's biggest strategist, Pierre Rochard, believes Bitcoin will see an explosion of corporate interest in 2021. In Kraken's 2021 Market Outlook presentation, the crypto influencer predicted 50% of the top 500 companies in the world will hold Bitcoin in their portfolios by the start of 2022. If they do that, that means that Bitcoin, first of all, Bitcoin is clearly the winner in the digital race. But if you get the largest companies on the planet holding Bitcoin, there's really no return after that, because that means every other company, even smaller mom and pop shops, will eventually start holding Bitcoin as well as part of their reserves. He said, my boldest prediction is that if we take the S&P 500, the world's largest corporations, I think that by the end of 2021, more than half of them will have Bitcoin on their balance sheets. And I think a lot of them already do. We've heard whispers of other major companies like looking into Bitcoin. And I'm sure that they probably, if they don't have direct exposure, I would assume most of their CEOs have been buying. And if not, they have indirect exposure through something like an ETF or Grayscale at this point. It just seems completely logical. I don't think anyone is dumb enough at this point to not have Bitcoin on their portfolio, especially when you get indications that the US dollar, the world's reserve currency, might fall, and all the predictions that we've been getting from the other banks as to how high Bitcoin could go. It just seems a little weird if they wouldn't have some Bitcoin on their balance sheets. He said more than half of them will have Bitcoin on their balance sheets, and I think that will be driven by simple economics, which is that issuing shares to buy Bitcoin causes your stock price to go up more than the dilution. That would also be kind of weird. And so because that is the case, we have market data showing this. Why am I reading so weird? We're going to see a huge amount of corporate adoption of Bitcoin, and we'll see like what MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor is doing. Corporations issuing large quantities of bonds, fixed income instruments, whether they're convertible or whatever, in order to just buy Bitcoin in bulk. That's MicroStrategy. And I'm certain, don't lie to me, nearly all of you had never heard of a MicroStrategy before we started talking about it this year. MicroStrategy came out of nowhere. They're not as big as Tesla. They're not as big as Apple, Google, Amazon, blah, 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 blah. They managed to raise $650 million in, 10 days? Just about, to buy Bitcoin. Imagine if Tesla, Apple, or Amazon came forward and said, we are going to offer some type of an anything to raise money to be able to buy Bitcoin for our subsidiaries, for our so-and-so, for our institutional investors, whatever. They would make billions overnight. And not only that, knowing that they would have Bitcoin on their portfolios would lead people to start crunching the numbers and simply go, if Grayscale has 600,000 Bitcoin, Amazon is probably going to hold more than them. I think we are so close to that, and I feel in my bones that it's already happening. Behind the scenes, the gears, the wheels, whatever, is something is turning, and they're trying to figure out the best way to be able to buy up extra Bitcoin without having to actually hype Bitcoin. They're now in a position where these mega companies can't say the name Bitcoin, can't say the name without pushing its price dramatically higher. Now imagine if we got wind that not only are they thinking of getting into it, they're getting into it, and they're planning on pushing billions of dollars into the market. While it may be possible to be able to trade with bots and stuff like that, to not move the market as these trades are being executed, a day later, once we realize that, hey, they just bought 450,000 Bitcoin, the price would skyrocket. I definitely believe this is going to happen. I think all it takes is for Bitcoin to pass by the $1 trillion market cap. And it's going to happen sometime next year. And that's all that's going to take. Because if you don't have a portion of $1 trillion asset on your balance sheet, your company's garbage. Hope you're all ready, because next year is going to be an absolute doozy. It is not going to be a sleeper year at all for anybody. This is the actual tweet for it right here. Yeah. Let's move on. And to finish things off, crypto adoption has ballooned in Venezuela and Argentina this year. This was claimed by industry players. In Venezuela, the CEO of one of the nation's most active crypto exchanges, Crypto Buyer, has claimed that the unspecified number of Bitcoin payments made in the nation is doubling every month. Doubling every month. Speaking in an interview with Crypto Noticias, Crypto Buyer chief Jorge Farias, I thought it said Farina, also claimed 19 has made it more necessary than ever to develop an alternative payment system. Good thing we already have one. Bitcoin, including contactless and remote payment solutions. The exchange boss claimed that the firm has gone up on a hiring spree to cope with the rise in demand for crypto pay, doubling the size of its staff, not only at the development level, but also in its technical support and customer service departments. I really do hope, first of all, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have completely gone mainstream. As the world economically is not doing well, people are looking for alternatives. And as governments around the world tell people, hey, you can't do that, people are looking for alternatives. The original idea of Bitcoin was to be spread around the world so that everyone had a chance to be able to have a portion of it. Of course, a lot of that is slipping through the fingers quite rapidly as mega institutions be able to, I think it's supposed to be if every single person on the planet was able to have an equal portion of Bitcoin, it would be 0.002. I think that's exactly what it is. So we're going to get to a point where people are only going to be able to have, 8,000 Satoshis to their name. But we still have time. I don't know who needs to hear this or if someone in another country is hearing this. For other countries to be able to still adopt it and accumulate as much as they possibly can, because there's not enough left. When we talk about the actual accumulation of Bitcoin, it usually comes down to, well, they just bought 14,000, they just bought 38,000. I think every single week it's more than 40,000 Bitcoin that gets taken off the actual, I think it's every 3 or 4 days it gets taken off the actual table. And then we discuss other people trying to accumulate an entire Bitcoin, not people who are like, I can only afford 1/1000th of a Bitcoin. So I hope that they continue to accumulate, because when Bitcoin does take off, I do want everyone in the world to be able to profit from it and not just the people who are already hyper rich. Like, imagine just the super rich transferring their money into Bitcoin and they become super richer. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. I get very excited when we have news about South America, Latin America, Africa, Asia, really getting into the Bitcoin space. I know it's probably like 1/10,000th of the actual population who's into it, but I do hope that that increases, because I want them to also be able to make some good money. Yeah. Hold on. Wait for it. There we go. Wait. There we go. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Crypto Stahl, George Montoya, Wiselink, Not TMI, Conan, Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banana, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila Dahan, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman, High XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohammed Maroni, Massive Ventures in Thailand, Jared China, Wise Knight, Owl 242 to the world, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cold D3D, Damien Setsuna, Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangelevori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jamie Fox, Matthew Coins, Mother, His Chest, Everyday, and Koski Flag Day, Yes to Crypto, Bully Me, Woodface, Anytime Fitness, Muscle Staff, Arithmetic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigra, Machanisa on the Crypto Lionel, Carla Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members. I see you coming in every single day. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone who has left a like, left a comment, or wrote the word algorithm. I find it really fascinating. I saw I think 100 comments yesterday that just said algo, and I couldn't stop laughing. Thank you all very, 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 very much for your support. At the Memento, where is it? Bitcoin is currently at 24,864 US dollars. Here's 25,000, that little peak right there. A lot of the altcoins have begun to slide downwards, if you will. A lot of articles floating around about Litecoin doing extremely well, which is also a bit of a question mark. There's been no Litecoin news. The news that we've had about Mimblewimble is supposed to be for sometime next year, unless they're going to surprise us and be like, hey, it's here today or something like that. But Litecoin has been doing extremely well, and there's been no actual news on it. XRP is down by 16%, as one might have assumed. I don't want to hope that the price continues dropping because I know other people own it, but I would like to accumulate more. I think I'm just being greedy. I'm sorry. Chainlink is down by 2%. Lumens is down by 8% as well. It's following the XRP trajectory almost to a T because they're made by the same people. Don't forget that part. Anything else crazy? Tezos is down by 5. Theta's up by 14 because why not? It's 2020. Neo's down by 6. Synthetics is up by 8. Zillica's up by 11. IOTA's down by 5, but it's also IOTA. I mean, $17 million. That's absolutely nothing. VeChain Thor is down by 7. UrinFi is down by 7. You get the point. The market's down. I assume the next leg up will probably commence sometime during the week. Once again, and I'll say it every single 1,000 if I have to. There's no reason why we shouldn't be at $30, $40, $50, $60,000 Bitcoin. Anyway, I do hope that you all enjoyed. I have some other videos planned that I'm going to be doing. I got a lot to do. Anyway, so expect another video either today or tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, and then some other ones during the... I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.